It was just another Saturday night. I was home alone, my parents out of town, and I was deep into my favorite video game. The room was dimly lit, the only light coming from the TV screen in front of me. I had just beaten the final boss after what felt like an eternity, and I was ready to relax. As I reached for my soda on the coffee table, I heard a sound, a faint banging, almost like someone knocking, coming from somewhere in the house. I paused, listening carefully. Maybe it was just the house settling, or maybe the wind outside. I tried to shake it off, but something about that sound didn't feel right. The banging didn't stop, though. It got louder, more insistent. It seemed to be coming from the basement. My heart started to race, but I kept telling myself it was nothing. Just the old furnace acting up again. I could ignore it, right? But I couldn't. The sound was driving me crazy. I put down the controller and stood up, trying to convince myself that I was just being paranoid. But as I walked toward the basement door, my stomach twisted into knots. I opened the door slowly, and a gust of cold air hit me like a slap in the face. The light switch at the top of the stairs didn't work, of course. The bulb must have blown out, leaving the basement in complete darkness. I pulled out my phone, turning on the flashlight. The beam of light cut through the darkness, but it barely reached the bottom of the stairs. I took a deep breath and started down the steps, each one creaking loudly under my weight. The air grew colder with every step, and I could see my breath in front of me, misting up in the light from my phone. When I reached the bottom, the banging stopped. The silence was almost worse. I swept the flashlight around the room. Old furniture, dusty boxes, nothing out of the ordinary. But then I heard it, whispering, faint at first, but growing louder. It seemed to be coming from the crawl space under the stairs. I felt a chill run down my spine, but I couldn't stop myself from moving closer. The whispering grew more intense, almost like chanting, and the flashlight started to flicker. I couldn't make out what was being said, but it didn't sound good. Panic took over. I bolted back up the stairs, slamming the basement door behind me. My heart was pounding, and I could barely catch my breath. Whatever was down there, I didn't want to know. I ran up to my room and locked the door behind me, trying to put as much distance between myself and the basement as possible. I grabbed my old Sony Walkman from the desk, hoping that some music would calm me down. I put on the headphones and cranked up the volume, trying to drown out the fear that was gnawing at me. For a moment, it worked. The music was loud, and I started to relax. But then, I heard it again, the whispering. It was faint at first, like it was just in the background, but it got louder, more insistent. The same whispering from the basement, now coming through the headphones. I ripped them off, but the whispers didn't stop. They were in the room with me, surrounding me. The lights flickered, then went out completely, leaving me in total darkness. Before I could even react, something slammed into me, throwing me back onto the bed. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. I was pinned down, unable to move, as the whispers turned into a deafening, demonic chant. My body convulsed, and I could feel something dark and cold seeping into me, taking control. I tried to fight it, but I was too weak. I could feel myself slipping away, and then, nothing. Everything went still. The whispers stopped, the cold vanished, and I could move again. But something was wrong. I felt different, like I wasn't myself anymore. I sat up slowly, feeling a strange sensation in my chest. I walked over to the mirror and looked at my reflection. My eyes were glowing red, and a twisted smile spread across my face. I wasn't Jake anymore. Something else had taken over, something dark and sinister. That night, the house wasn't quiet anymore. The whispers never stopped. They're with me, even now, echoing in my mind, reminding me that some games you can never win.